What goes through the mind of a boy who grew up feeling different from everyone else, who faced bullying, a difficult relationship with his father, and a far from obvious future, and yet decided he was going to change the world? This is not a rhetorical question. It is precisely the starting point of the true story of Elon Musk, a name that today divides opinions, inspires generations, and appears in virtually every serious conversation about technology, innovation, and the destiny of humanity. You've probably heard of Tesla, SpaceX, or the controversies surrounding Twitter, but the story behind it all goes far beyond the headlines and the astronomical wealth surrounding this character. What few people tell is how a South African boy, without powerful connections in Hollywood or Silicon Valley, built an empire from scratch, survived near certain bankruptcy, and still continued betting everything on ideas that most called crazy. Elon Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa, into a family that combined money, ambition, and access to the best education and technology. His father, Elon Musk, was a successful engineer and businessman, which placed young Elon in an environment very different from the reality of most children around the world. Growing up with books readily available, computers nearby, and a mindset geared towards achievement was the initial fuel that fed the mind of the future founder of Tesla and SpaceX. This privilege was not merely material. It was the fertile ground from which one of the most extraordinary entrepreneurial stories the world has ever seen sprouted. Behind the billionaire who revolutionized technology and global investments, there is a child who faced a rather turbulent relationship with his own father. Elon Musk was a tough man, and the home environment was far from the welcoming atmosphere we imagine when we think of a happy childhood. Elon has stated in interviews that his father was capable of making him feel bad in ways few could imagine, and this emotional weight stayed with him for years. It's curious to see how these deepest wounds often become the silent engine behind great achievements, something Musk's trajectory proves with impressive clarity. At the age of 9, Elon Musk got his hands on a computer for the first time, and it was as if someone had flipped a switch inside him. An immediate and overwhelming fascination with everything technology had to offer. While most boys his age were preoccupied with playing, he was absorbing manuals and programming languages at a speed that left the adults around him speechless. At the age of 12, he had already learned to program on his own, consuming books aimed at university students, which shows that the habit of seeking knowledge beyond the obvious is a differentiating factor that separates those who dream from those who build. With the same mind that would later create SpaceX and transform the electric car market, young Elon developed a game called Blaster at the age of 12, a simple space game that carried all the essence of someone who was already thinking ahead of his time. He not only created the game, but also sold it to a technology magazine for about $500, proving that entrepreneurship has no minimum age to begin. This episode is one of those worth remembering because it shows that transforming knowledge into product and product into income is a skill that can be developed by anyone willing to act. Young Musk didn't wait for a perfect structure or a large investment to take the first step, and this behavior already foreshadowed the giant of the startup world that was to come. At 17, Elon Musk made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. He left South Africa behind and embarked on a journey to Canada in search of a world with more opportunities and fewer limitations. This courage to leave the familiar behind and face the unknown alone is something few young people his age would have, and it already spoke volumes about the kind of entrepreneur he was becoming. In Canada, he enrolled at Queen's University and later transferred to the prestigious University of Pennsylvania in the United States, where he graduated in economics and physics, a combination that brilliantly blended business acumen with scientific thinking. This solid academic foundation was the cornerstone that allowed Musk to move seamlessly between the worlds of technology, investment, and high-impact innovation. After graduating from university, Elon Musk could have taken the safer, more comfortable path, landed a well-paid job, and lived a quiet life. But his mind simply didn't work that way. In 1995, along with his brother Kimball, he founded Zip2, a company that developed map and city guide software for newspapers, at a time when the internet was still in its infancy and few believed in its commercial potential. The pair worked in conditions far removed from the glamour that the word entrepreneurship usually evokes, sleeping in the office and eating with carefully counted money, but keeping their eyes fixed on what they were building. In 1999, Compaq acquired Zip2 for around $307 million, and Elon Musk pocketed approximately $22 million from the sale, an amount most people would never see in their entire lives. For many, this would have been the moment to stop, breathe, and enjoy their newfound wealth. But for Musk, that money was merely fuel for something much bigger. What's striking about this chapter of his story isn't the value of the sale itself, but the speed with which he redirected everything to the next project, without hesitation and without wasting time celebrating excessively. This behavior reveals a pattern that appears repeatedly in the trajectory of the great names in global entrepreneurship: the ability to see each achievement not as a destination, but as a gateway to the next level. With the millions from the sale of Zip2 still warm in his pocket, Elon Musk did what any sensible person probably wouldn't do. He put almost everything into a new venture and founded X.com in 1999, one of the world's first online financial payment platforms. The idea was bold and simple at the same time: to allow people to move money online at a time when most still didn't trust making purchases over the internet. X.com later merged with another startup in the sector, giving rise to PayPal, which would become one of the biggest revolutions in the global financial market and pave the way for a whole new generation of fintechs and digital investments. The name PayPal is now synonymous with innovation in the payments sector, but few know that it was born from the courage of a man who had already proven his worth and yet chose to risk everything again. PayPal's rapid growth brought with it a series of internal conflicts that few imagine when they hear this success story, and Elon Musk ended up being removed from the CEO position while traveling, in a move that mixed corporate politics with serious strategic disagreements. He had a different vision for the company's technological direction, and this difference of opinion created friction that the board decided to resolve in the most direct way possible. Being ousted from the leadership of something you helped build is a tough blow for any entrepreneur, but what Musk did with that experience speaks volumes about his character and resilience. When eBay acquired PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion, he received about $180 million for his stake, and instead of holding a grudge, he used that capital to fund two of the most ambitious projects the tech world has ever seen. In 2002, with money in his pocket and an idea that bordered on the absurd for most people, Elon Musk founded SpaceX with a goal that few would dare to declare aloud: to make humanity a multi-planetary species and take humans to Mars. He even traveled to Russia to buy used rockets, and when he found the prices outrageous, he simply decided to build his own, with a naturalness that blends genius with a generous dose of stubbornness. SpaceX was born at a time when space exploration was the exclusive domain of governments and multi-billion-dollar agencies like NASA, and the idea of a private company entering this game was viewed with considerable skepticism by the market. But Musk saw beyond the skepticism of others and gradually transformed that seemingly impossible vision into a real operation that today rewrites the rules of space innovation and inspires an entire generation to think of Mars not as science fiction, but as the next step. In 2004, Elon Musk joined as a lead investor in a small startup called Tesla Motors, founded by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, and quickly assumed a central role in the company's direction and vision, becoming its CEO a few years later. The proposition was both simple and revolutionary: to prove that electric cars could be desirable, powerful, and technologically superior to the combustion-powered vehicles that had dominated the market for decades. What Tesla represented for the automotive sector goes far beyond environmental issues. It forced giant, century-old automakers to completely rethink their business models, their research investments, and their relationship with innovation. Musk transformed an electric car into an object of desire, a statement of style and intelligence, and made the whole world begin to see electric mobility not as an alternative, but as the inevitable path to the future. The year 2008 was undoubtedly the most brutal in Elon Musk's career, with Tesla and SpaceX simultaneously on the verge of financial collapse, and the world plunged into one of the greatest economic crises in modern history. SpaceX had failed in 3 consecutive rocket launches, consuming a fortune in the process, while Tesla faced production delays and immense pressure from investments that simply wouldn't stop bleeding money. Musk even publicly stated that he used his last personal savings to keep both companies alive, a level of commitment far beyond what most people could emotionally sustain. But it was precisely at that critical moment, when everything seemed about to collapse, that SpaceX achieved the first successful launch of the Falcon 1, and Tesla closed an investment round that kept it afloat, in a plot twist that seemed straight out of a movie. After surviving the storm of 2008, the trajectory of Elon Musk and his companies entered a phase of expansion that redefined what the world understands by innovation and technology on a global scale. Tesla launched increasingly affordable and sophisticated models. SpaceX began reusing rockets in a way that no one thought possible, and Musk still found time to found other equally ambitious companies such as Neuralink and The Boring Company. The impact of this set of initiatives goes far beyond the impressive wealth and market valuation figures, because Musk achieved something rare in the world of entrepreneurship, making ordinary people around the planet feel part of a larger mission. He transformed electric cars, rockets, and artificial intelligence into topics of conversation at bars and family dinners, bringing the cutting edge of technology closer to the daily lives of those who had never thought about Mars or lithium batteries before. No figure who so drastically disrupts the status quo escapes criticism, and Elon Musk is perhaps the most vivid example of this rule in modern times, accumulating controversies with the same speed with which he accumulates achievements. From impulsive statements on social media that moved billions in financial markets to accusations of an abusive work environment within his companies, Musk lives on a thin line between admired genius and controversial figure. He has been accused of overpromising and underdelivering, of treating employees with unreasonable harshness, and of irresponsibly using his public influence in sensitive matters. But it is precisely this contradiction between the visionary who inspires and the imperfect man who provokes that makes Musk one of the most fascinating and debated figures of our time, someone who rarely leaves anyone completely indifferent. In 2022, Elon Musk completed the acquisition of Twitter for $44 billion in a deal that captivated the world and generated more debate than any other technology transaction in recent years. He laid off a large portion of the staff in the early days, changed content moderation rules that had been in place for years, and renamed the platform X, making it clear that his intention was to transform the social network into something much bigger than just a space for conversation. The acquisition of Twitter revealed a dimension of Musk that goes beyond technological entrepreneurship, showing a man who understands the power of media, narrative, and public influence like few others in the business world. By getting his hands on one of the most influential communication platforms on the planet, he began to accumulate a type of power that combines technology, information, and opinion formation, and this, for better or for worse, has permanently changed the game of digital communication. Musk wasn't successful because he was born special or because life was kind to him. He was successful because he chose to keep going when everything told him to stop, because he transformed every failure into fuel and every criticism into motivation to prove it was possible. And the great truth his story leaves us with is that innovation, entrepreneurship, and wealth are not privileges reserved for a few. They are paths open to those who decide to follow them with determination and vision. So now it's your turn. What idea have you been keeping tucked away in a drawer for too long? What project have you been putting off, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes? Use what you've learned here as the push you need, because the future doesn't wait, and the people who are changing the world started exactly where you are now. If this content made a difference to you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and come follow more stories that have the power to transform the way you think and act.